All right, so you did it. You launched your nonprofit, you filed all that paperwork, and you are so ready to change the world. But now you're kind of stuck in limbo, just waiting on the IRS. So the big question on everyone's mind is, can you actually start applying for grants right now? Let's dive in and find out. You know you've poured all your passion into that Form 1023. You have a solid plan to really make a difference. The momentum is building, and you know you need that funding to make it all real. So, can you get a jump on grant applications, or are you just stuck playing the waiting game? And let's be honest, this waiting period can be absolutely agonizing. Your energy is high, your vision is crystal clear, but you feel like you're hitting this invisible wall, just stuck in a holding pattern, waiting for that one single letter from the IRS to unlock everything. It's super frustrating, but trust me, it's a universal experience for every new founder. So the key to answering that big grant question is really understanding what's going on behind the scenes during this wait. Let's break down the IRS review process and figure out what your legal status actually is at this very moment. Okay, check this out. The difference in timelines here is huge. If you're a smaller organization and you were able to file the 1023 EZ form, you might only be waiting a few weeks. But for most of us, filing the standard Form 1023 means you're looking at a wait of 3 to 6 months, and honestly, sometimes even longer. That is a massive chunk of your first year. So while you're in this holding pattern, you're in what's called interim status. Now, you are a real legal entity. You can open a bank account, you've got your EIN, but the most critical piece of the puzzle is missing: that federal tax-exempt recognition. It's kind of like having a brand new car in the driveway, but no license to legally drive it on the road. You can't prove that donations are tax deductible just yet. And that missing piece, that driver's license, so to speak, is exactly what brings us to the funders. See, to understand if you can apply for grants, you've got to see the world from their perspective. And this is the reality check. All right, let's just be direct here. For the vast majority of funders, we're talking foundations, government agencies, corporations, the answer is a pretty firm no. But hey, don't get discouraged. This isn't personal at all. It's all about verification, risk, and their own legal rules. Let's dig into exactly why. This chart is perfect. It really breaks down the why. You've got foundations, right? They have a legal responsibility to make sure their money goes to qualified charities, and they check that using the public IRS database. Governments? They have super strict rules for spending public money. And corporations? It's even simpler for them. They need proof of your status so they can get their own tax deductions. If you're not officially approved, you're not in the database, and they just can't check the box. This shows you exactly how a funder sees it. When your status is pending, you're basically a question mark in their system. You're an unverified risk. But the second you're approved, boom, you're a known entity, you're official, you're low risk. Funders live and breathe in that low-risk world on the right. So you're probably wondering, are there any exceptions? And the answer is, yeah, but they are incredibly rare. A handful of funders that focus on brand new organizations might take a look, but they'll want proof you filed, they'll put you under a microscope with extra paperwork, and any money is almost always going to be held back until you get final approval. Bottom line, it's not a reliable strategy. Okay, so if applying for most grants is off the table, what on earth should you be doing with your time? This is where we flip the script. We're going to stop playing a passive waiting game and start playing a strategic one. Here's how you turn this frustrating delay into your single greatest advantage. This right here is the key mindset shift. That 3 to 6 month wait is not dead time. It's a gift. Seriously, it is the dedicated time that you desperately need to build the professional, organized, grant-ready nonprofit that funders will be thrilled to support the second your approval letter arrives. So where do you focus all that amazing energy? Right here on this chart. This is your roadmap. First, nail all your state compliance, because you got to do that anyway. Second, get your governance in order. This is the strong foundation of bylaws and policies funders will absolutely demand to see. Then, you document your programs, start building relationships with individual donors, and get your basic financial systems set up. But what if you're thinking, I get it, but I really, really need to access grant funding, like yesterday? Well, there is a smart workaround. It's called fiscal sponsorship. You can basically partner with an existing 501c3 and apply for grants under their umbrella. It's a strategic bridge that lets you get moving without sending out applications that are just going to get rejected. Okay, let's get super tactical. What does building your infrastructure actually look like in practice?
Here is your grant-ready checklist for a massively successful launch the moment that IRS letter lands in your mailbox.
Here's the plan, broken down into 4 simple steps. 1, get all your state filings sorted. 2, assemble your complete set of governance documents. 3, write up those clear, compelling descriptions of your programs that you're going to use in every grant application. And 4, and this is a big one, start building relationships now with supporters and potential funders.
Let's just zoom in on step 2 for a second. When we say governance docs, this is what we mean. These are the exact documents that grant makers are going to ask for on day 1. Having your adopted bylaws, a full board roster, a conflict of interest policy with signed forms, meeting minutes, and financial policies all ready to go, that makes you look incredibly professional and prepared.
And this is the real payoff for all that prep work. If you do this right, when that approval letter finally arrives, you will not waste months scrambling to get organized. You'll be ready to submit high-quality professional grant applications in a matter of days. The whole goal here is to transform this waiting period from a frustrating roadblock into your own personal runway. By the time the IRS finally gives you the green light, your engine is already running, and your entire toolkit is packed and ready for deployment. So, it all comes down to this one question. That approval letter will arrive. Make no mistake. When it does, are you going to be back at the starting line scrambling just to get organized? Or are you going to be at the launch pad ready to absolutely soar? The choice is yours.